y'all gon' give me my respect, cause I earned that. Even though it's 6 bands a pound, we still burning that. New Benz with the glass tops, yeah, we drove those. Know them things come out in glass box, yeah, we sold those.
Hey, what's up, guys? How we doing? I wanted to get to some questions. I've had a real lot of questions that I've received over the last few weeks, and I'm going to try to start to get to some of them. I've been really busy lately, but I appreciate all the questions, and I'll try to get everyone's as quickly as I can. Today, the one I want to talk about was, I've gotten a lot actually asking me about third base and what are some keys to playing third base. Third base is definitely a different position than the middle infield. I played third base in college, and I've played third base as a professional my first year a little bit, and then last year a little bit, and I'll be playing third base this year also. But I've also played a lot of middle infield, and there are definitely some differences between the corners, especially third base, and the middle infield. And I think if you practice some of these things I'm going to talk about, I think it's going to make you a better third baseman. So there's two main things I think that will really help you out to be a better third baseman. The first thing, third base is really about reactions. So when you're playing the middle infield, a lot of times you're able to use your feet to get to certain hops that you want. Whereas third base, the ball's on you a lot quicker, and you're not able to use your feet as much. A lot of times you're just going to have to catch the hop that you get. You're not going to be able to pick out your hop. Now every now and then you're going to be able to, but there's going to be a lot of times where the ball's hit so hard with some topspin where you're going to have to very quickly decide if you want to drop step, charge it, or you're going to have to move left or right. I think one of the important things that you have to learn at third base, and this took me a little while to learn my first few years, is once you make that decision, you have to stick with it. So if you decide, once you see a ball, let's just say chopped, and the ball's in the air, once you decide that you're going to come in on it, then you got to go and come in. You can't be indecisive at third base. If you decide you're going to drop step, well then drop step. But don't second guess yourself. Don't see the ball hit, decide you're going to drop step, and now all of a sudden change your mind and decide you're going to come forward. Most of the time, you're going to get caught in between and probably going to be an error. So at third base, because it's such a quick, instinctive position, you just kind of have to make a decision really quickly. Stick with your decision that you make and go for it. And if it's the wrong decision, hey, you can live with that. But it's very hard at third base to think too much, to try to decide, okay, I'm going to go back. No, I'm going to go forward real quick. It's not going to work. So make your decision, stick with it, and play it out. You'll be much more successful doing that than changing halfway through as the ball is being hit. That's the first thing. The second thing that I think really helps you at third base is you really will use one hand a lot more at third than you will at second or short. A lot of plays at short or second will be two-handed, field the ground ball, throw the first. At third base, you're going to get a lot more balls where you're going to have to drop step and maybe use one hand to quickly pick the ball. You're going to have to charge the ball, slow rollers, use one hand. You're going to have to quickly move left or right or dive left or right and use one hand. So I think it's really important at third base especially to practice using one hand. A lot of times we get so used to using two hands that when we're asked to use one hand, it's a lot more difficult. And I noticed going to play third base that I use one hand a lot more at third base than I do in the middle infield. Every now and then in the middle infield, you get a ball where you're really ranging to your forehand and you use that one hand, or to your backhand. But at the corners, especially at third base, you don't have the luxury of getting around balls or getting to routine balls and using two hands. You're going to have to use that one hand a lot. And if you don't practice using one hand to pinch a short hop or to drop step quickly and use that one hand, you're going to be in trouble. You're not going to be used to it. And if you think you're going to use two hands at third base all the time, it's not really going to work out for you. So I think those are the two big things. Obviously, there's a lot that goes into third base. We could talk about the drop step. I could talk about the drop step for an hour. or charging slow rollers. I'll keep trying to put new videos up about everything, but if I just had to name a couple of key things I think about when I think about third base and the differences, those are my two things: being instinctual and sticking with your original instincts. Whatever that tells you to do, stick with it. Don't change your mind halfway through, and then practice using one hand. Um, if you do those two things, I think it's going to give you an opportunity to be a better third baseman, especially if you're a guy that's used to playing the middle infield and you go to third base. It's a lot different over there. So I think those two things will help. I appreciate the question. Keep them coming, and I'll try to get to as many as I can over the next few weeks. All right. Hope this helps. Take care.